The city lights glittered like scattered diamonds far below my balcony. But that evening, 23 floors up, the view felt colder than usual. I had just finished a 12-hour day at the office. Spreadsheets, client calls, projections that never quite added up the way people hoped. And all I wanted was a glass of red and silence. Instead, I got my entire family sitting around my custom walnut dining table, like they owned the place. My father didn't waste time on small talk. He reached into the worn leather briefcase he still carried from his 35 years as a mid-level insurance adjuster and slid a thick manila folder across the polished surface. It stopped exactly in front of me, perfectly centered, like he'd practiced the motion. "Sign it," he said. His voice was flat, clinical, the same tone he used when he told people their claim was denied. "Or we take you to court." I stared at the folder, no label, just cream-colored cardstock, slightly yellowed at the edges from years of being handled. My mother sat to his left, hands folded in her lap, eyes fixed on the centerpiece, a crystal bowl of white orchids I'd bought on a whim last spring. She wouldn't look at me, not once. Cassie, my younger sister, always Cassie, never Cassandra unless she was in trouble, sat beside her, arms crossed so tightly the knuckles showed white. Her husband Derek wasn't here tonight. Apparently, this was immediate family only. Translation? The people who thought they had a right to my life. I didn't touch the folder. Not yet. "You're in my house," I said quietly. "The one I bought. The one with my name on the deed. And you're threatening me in it?" Dad's jaw tightened, just a fraction. "We're not threatening. We're presenting options. Reasonable ones." "Reasonable," I repeated. The word tasted like metal. Mom finally spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. "Sweetheart, it's a big place. 3 bedrooms. You live alone." I almost laughed. Almost. Instead, I leaned back in my chair and crossed my legs. "So the solution is to give it to Cassie?" Cassie's eyes flashed. "It's not like that." "Then what is it like?" I asked, cutting her off. My voice stayed calm. I'd learned early that shouting gave them permission to call me dramatic. "Explain it to me, slowly." Dad opened his mouth, but Mom touched his wrist. A small, practiced gesture that had silenced arguments for decades. "Your sister is pregnant," she said. Like that one sentence explained everything. I looked at Cassie. She placed both hands protectively over her still flat stomach. Her eyes were shiny, but the tears hadn't fallen yet. Performance tears, I thought, then hated myself for thinking it. "Congratulations," I said. "And I meant it. A baby is a baby. I'm happy for you." Cassie swallowed. "We need space, stability. Derek's job situation is complicated right now. The townhouse is too small, and rent keeps going up. So you want my penthouse?" I finished. "Not want," Dad corrected. "Need. Family helps family." I let the silence stretch. The kind of silence that makes people uncomfortable. I'd spent 10 years learning how to sit in uncomfortable silence while waitressing graveyard shifts, while studying at 3 a.m. with a migraine, while negotiating my first salary. Silence is a weapon when you know how to wield it. Finally, I spoke. "I bought this place with my money. Every cent, no cosigners. No gifts, no inheritance. My down payment came from 10 years of 80-hour weeks, night classes, ramen dinners, and exactly 0 vacations. You didn't even come to the closing." "Remember?" Mom flinched. "Just barely." Dad's voice hardened. "We gave you everything we could when you were growing up." "You gave Cassie everything," I said. "There's a difference." Cassie's chair scraped back an inch. "That's not fair." "Isn't it?" I turned to her. 16 years old. Brand new BMW convertible. Big red bow. I remember because I was working doubles at the diner so I could afford the bus pass that expired every month. "You got college paid for. Sorority dues, Cancun." I got told I was smart enough to figure it out. So I did. The room went very still. I finally opened the folder. Inside were 2 documents. The first was a draft quitclaim deed. My name listed as grantor. Cassie's full legal name, Cassiopeia Marie Reynolds, as grantee. The second was a letter from a law firm I'd never heard of. Langford and Pratt, real estate litigation. The header was thick, expensive. The language even thicker. Verbal agreement, family understanding, equitable interest, constructive trust. I read the phrase twice. Verbal family trust? I looked up at my father. "You're claiming there was a verbal agreement that this apartment, my apartment, belongs to the family." To Cassie? It's not a claim, Dad said. It's the truth. There is no truth here, I said slowly, because no such conversation ever happened. Mom's voice cracked. We always said, when you got on your feet, you'd help your sister. That's what families do. I did help, I reminded her. I sent money when Derek lost his first job. I paid Cassie's phone bill for 6 months when they were behind. I've never said no to small things. This, I tapped the folder, is not small. Dad leaned forward. You're sitting on almost $400,000 in equity while your sister is drowning. That's not right. I felt something shift inside my chest. Not anger exactly, something colder, clearer. So this is about equity, I said. Not family, not love, money. Cassie started crying then. Real tears this time, or at least they looked real. I just want my baby to have a safe place. Is that so terrible? I looked at her for a long moment. The little sister who used to crawl into my bed during thunderstorms. The one I taught how to braid her hair. The one who stopped calling me after she got her first credit card with Mom and Dad's name on it. No, I said finally. Wanting safety isn't terrible. Taking someone else's home to get it, that's different. Dad stood up. You have 1 week. Think about what family really means. He walked toward the door. Mom rose too, slower, like the weight of the moment had settled into her bones. Cassie stayed seated, mascara streaking. At the threshold, Mom paused. She still wouldn't look at me. You'll regret this, she whispered. The door closed with a soft, expensive click. I sat there alone for almost 20 minutes. The orchids stared back at me. The city kept glittering, indifferent. Eventually I stood, walked to the bookshelf in my office, and pulled down the black 3-ring binder I'd kept for years. The one Ms. Eudora taught me to start. Page 1, purchase agreement, dated 3 years ago. Buyer, me, sole name. Down payment wire confirmation attached. $84,000 from my savings account ending 4712. Handwritten note from the seller's agent in the margin. Buyer's parents declined to co-sign or contribute. All cash from buyer's personal funds. Transaction solo. I turned the page. Deed. Recorded with the county clerk. Embossed seal. Owner, me. No liens except my mortgage. Mortgage statement attached. Every payment. 36 months straight auto-debited from my checking. No parents, no sister, no verbal trust. Just me. I closed the binder and placed it back on the shelf, exactly where it belonged. Then I poured myself that glass of red I'd wanted 3 hours ago. The wine tasted bitter, but the view still sparkled. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel small. I felt ready. The next 72 hours felt like walking on the thin glass floor of a skyscraper. Lobby, every step deliberate, every sound amplified. I didn't sleep much that first night. I kept replaying the folder sliding across my table. The way my father's fingers had released. It like he was handing over a final paycheck. The quiet click of the front door when they left. Mom's last whisper. You'll regret this. Around 3:17 a.m., I gave up pretending I could rest. I padded barefoot into the office, flicked on the small desk lamp, the one with the warm, amber bulb that never glares, and pulled the black binder down again. I had started it almost 11 years earlier on the advice of Ms. Eudora. She was the night manager at the 24-hour diner on Route 12, the one with the flickering neon sign that said eat but never quite finished the word because the tea had burned out years ago. I was 19, pulling doubles, feet throbbing inside secondhand non-slip shoes, grease in my hair no matter how many times I washed it. One slow Tuesday morning, around 4 a.m., she caught me crying in the walk-in cooler because I'd just gotten a $47 electricity bill I couldn't pay on time. She didn't hug me, didn't tell me it would be okay. Instead, she handed me a cheap spiral notebook and said, "Track every dollar like it's evidence in a murder trial, baby girl. One day someone's gonna try to take what's yours. When they do, the paper trail don't lie." I bought the binder the next week. Black, 3-inch rings, nothing fancy. I started keeping everything. Pay stubs, bus passes, rent receipts, the $12.47 ATM withdrawal for laundry quarters, the $3.99 pack of ramen that got me through finals week, every single mortgage payment once I bought the place, every property tax bill, every utility statement, even the $8.99 IKEA shelf brackets I bought to organize the pantry. People thought I was obsessive. Maybe I was. But obsession is just focus with better branding. I opened to the section labeled simply, Purchase, 2022-2023. The purchase agreement was first. 8 pages of fine print, my signature in blue gel pen on every initial line. Seller's name blacked out for privacy in my copy. But the buyer line was crystal clear. Sole purchaser, my full name. Down payment, $84,000. Source of funds, personal savings account, 1QX4712. Next, the HUD-1 settlement statement. Line 303, cash from borrower, $84,000. Line 601, seller concessions, $0. Line 1001, adjustments for items paid by seller in advance, $0. I flipped forward. County recorded deed. Scanned copy with the bright red embossed seal in the corner. Grantee, me. Grantor, the previous owners. Consideration, $620,000. No trusts, no life estates, no family reservations. Just my name. Then the mortgage. 30-year fixed at 6,125%. Monthly payment $3,684.12, including taxes and insurance. Every single payment history. Printed from the servicer's portal, 36 consecutive months. Auto debit, never late, never missed. I ran my finger down the column of dates. Month after month. My checking account. My money. 0 entries labeled parental contribution. 0 entries labeled family trust reimbursement. I closed my eyes for a second. They were going to court with nothing but a story. A story they hoped I was too ashamed to contradict in public. I opened my laptop, logged into the county recorder's portal, and pulled the official title history again, just to be sure, clean. 1. Owner since recording, me. Then I did something I hadn't done in months. I ran a fresh credit report on myself through annualcreditreport.com. Still clean. No inquiries I didn't recognize. No new accounts. Out of morbid curiosity, I pulled a public record search on Cassie's name. That was when the second folder inside the binder suddenly felt heavier. I had started a separate section 2 years ago, after Cassie asked me for $4,000, just to float her until Derek's bonus came in. I'd said no that time, not because I didn't have it, but because it was the 3rd time in 18 months. I told her I loved her, but I wasn't a bank. She'd cried, called me selfish, hung up. 2 days later, she posted a picture of new Louboutins with the caption, "Treating myself because I deserve it." After that day, I quietly started documenting. Public records are free if you know where to look. Cassie's name appeared on 4 separate UCC1 financing statements, personal property loans, 2 credit card judgments, a defaulted auto lease repossession from 18 months ago, total unsecured consumer debt visible in public filings, 6,800 and change. I kept scrolling. Then I searched my parents' address. 11 months ago, second mortgage recorded against their primary residence. Lender, a hard money outfit out of Nevada. Amount $50,000. Interest rate 11.9%. Balloon payment due in 5 years. I did the mental math. Cassie's visible debt $68K. Parents' new mortgage $50K. Total bleeding $118K. My penthouse, current market value according to the last Zillow estimate I'd seen, $680,710K. Remaining mortgage balance, $310K. Current equity, $370,400K. Enough to wipe their slates clean. Enough to buy a fresh start. Enough to make the problem disappear if someone just signed it away. I felt sick. Not angry yet, just hollow. They weren't asking for help. They were planning a heist. The next morning, the second certified letter arrived. Same law firm letterhead. Thicker envelope this time. Notice of intent to commence litigation. Claims. Constructive trust. Unjust enrichment. Breach of implied family agreement. Equitable line. They were serious. 48 hours. Sign the quitclaim deed or face suit. I sat at the kitchen island with both letters side by side. The first one still smelled faintly of toner. The second one smelled like threat. My phone buzzed. Group chat. Cassie had added half the extended family. 32 people. The message was simple. Some of us really need help right now. Some of us are just hoarding success. Prayers for clarity. Within minutes, the replies started. Aunt Linda, how can you do this to your own sister? Cousin Mark, family first, always. Second cousin Tara I hadn't spoken to in 8 years. Wow, just wow. I turned the phone face down. Then my father called. No greeting. You want to tear this family apart over real estate? Fine, we'll see you in court. And when you lose, you'll have nothing. No family, no house, nothing. Click. I stared at the black screen. 48 hours. I could fold. Sign. Move into a smaller condo somewhere. keep the peace, be the good daughter again. Or, I opened my contacts, found the name. I'd saved 3 years ago after a real estate investing seminar downtown. Mercer Evelyn, litigation attorney. Specialty, real property disputes and fraudulent claims. Notes, shark, zero tolerance for bullshit. Drinks bourbon, charges what she's worth. I hit call. She picked up on the second ring. Mercer. I took a breath. Hi, my name. My family is trying to take my house. They say there's a verbal trust. They're threatening to sue in 48 hours. I have a lot of paperwork. Silence for 3 seconds. Then, how much equity are we talking? Roughly $370. Another pause. Bring everything. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. sharp. My office, 17th floor. Tower 2. And bring coffee. Black. Large. I don't do lattes. I almost laughed. The first real laugh in days. Yes, ma'am. I hung up. Then I started printing. Every single page in the binder. Every receipt. Every statement. Every public record I could download. I worked through the night. By 6 a.m., I had 3 full sets. One for me, one for Mercer, one sealed in a fire-safe envelope just in case. At 8:42, I stepped out of the elevator on the 17th floor, wearing the charcoal suit I usually saved for board presentations. I carried the binder like a shield, and 2 large black coffees. Evelyn Mercer was waiting, 50-something, silver hair in a sharp bob, navy blazer, eyes that looked straight through people. She took the coffee without a word, pointed to the chair. Talk. I talked. For 47 minutes straight. She listened, took notes in perfect slanted handwriting, didn't interrupt once. When I finished, she flipped through the binder for another 10 minutes in silence. Then she looked up. They have nothing, she said. No writing, no partial performance, no detrimental reliance that can be proven. A verbal family understanding isn't worth the breath it took to say it, not for real property. Statute of frauds kills it dead. She tapped the credit report page. But they're desperate. Desperate people do stupid things. They might actually file. I nodded. She leaned back. Here's what we do. She laid it out like a battle plan. 1. File a preemptive declaratory judgment action. Ask the court to declare me sole owner and extinguish any claimed interest. 2. Send a cease and desist letter today, 24-hour turnaround. Attach key exhibits. Make it crystal clear we will seek sanctions if they proceed. 3. Prepare counterclaims, abusive process, malicious prosecution if they file, plus attorney fees under frivolous litigation statute. 4. Record the whole thing? Video statement, time-stamped uploads, digital trail. Then she added the quiet part. If they push, we don't just defend. We bury them. I looked at her across the desk. How much? She quoted a number. It hurt. But not as much as losing the penthouse. I signed the retainer. She started drafting while I sat there. By 4:17 p.m., the cease and desist was done, exhibits attached, filed with the court clerk as part of the declaratory action notice. She emailed it to Langford and Pratt with red receipt. Then she looked at me. Go home. Sleep. They'll call by tomorrow night, begging for a meeting. I didn't sleep, but I did go home. I sat on the balcony with the binder beside me. The city glittered below. For the first time in days, I didn't feel like prey. I felt like the hunter, and the hunt had just begun. The conference room on the 42nd floor of the downtown tower smelled like fresh coffee, expensive leather, and the faint metallic tang of fear. Glass walls on 3 sides. The city stretched out below us like a map someone had forgotten to fold. Late afternoon sun slanted through the blinds, throwing long stripes across the polished mahogany table. I arrived 15 minutes early with Evelyn Mercer. She wore charcoal pinstripes and heels that clicked like gunshots on marble. I carried nothing but a slim leather portfolio and the same black binder, now thicker, tabbed, indexed, armored. We didn't speak much in the elevator. She didn't need to rehearse. I didn't need to be told to stay quiet unless spoken to. At 4:02 p.m., the other side arrived. My father first, navy blazer, tie slightly crooked. The same briefcase from 3 nights ago. My mother behind him, cream cardigan, eyes already red. Cassie last, pale foundation, doing a poor job of hiding the shadows under her eyes. Their attorney, a man in his late 50s named Richard Langford, walked in last. Expensive suit, tired eyes. The look of someone who already knew the score, but had to play the game anyway. No one said hello. We sat, opposing sides of the long table like a Cold War summit. Evelyn opened first. Thank you for agreeing to this. Emergency settlement conference. Her voice was calm, almost polite. Before we waste the court's time or anyone's money, let's establish the facts on the record. She didn't wait for agreement. First exhibit, the purchase agreement. She slid it across the glass. Dated April 12, 2023. Sole purchaser, my client. Down payment, $84,000 from her personal savings account. No cosigners. No parental contribution. Seller's agent note in margin. Buyer's parents declined to co-sign or contribute. Transaction solo. Langford glanced at it, said nothing. Second exhibit, the recorded deed. Embossed seal glowing under the lights. Grantee my client alone. No trusts. No equitable interest reserved. Mortgage solely in her name. My mother shifted. Looked at her hands. Third exhibit. 36 months of mortgage payment history. Evelyn tapped the column. $3784.12 per month. Every payment debited from my client's checking account. Total paid to date, $136,229.92. Parent contribution, 0. Cassie made a small sound, half sob, half exhale. Then Evelyn placed the fourth packet down gently, like laying out surgical instruments. Public records, she said. Unsecured debt in the name of Cassiopeia. Marie Reynolds, approximately $60,8400 in credit cards, personal loans, and a defaulted auto lease. All aged less than 24 months. She slid another page. Second mortgage recorded against the residence of Mr. and Mrs. Reynolds 11 months ago. Amount $50,000. Lender, Nevada Hard Money. Interest, 11.9%. Balloon due in 4 years. She paused. Let the numbers hang in the air. Current estimated equity in the subject property, $370,000 to $400,000. Enough to satisfy both debts in full, with change. My father's jaw worked. No sound came out. Evelyn's voice stayed even. This is not a family understanding. This is a motive. Langford cleared his throat. Miss Mercer, my clients believe... Your clients believe a verbal promise made over Sunday dinners constitutes an enforceable, equitable interest in real property. Evelyn cut in. The statute of frauds requires writing for interests in land valued over $500. There is no writing. There is no partial performance sufficient to take it out of the statute. There is no detrimental reliance that can be proven in court without perjury. She leaned forward slightly. If this matter is filed, we will seek sanctions for frivolous litigation. We will counterclaim for abuse of process. We will seek full attorney fees and costs under the relevant statute. And we will subpoena every financial record on both sides going back 10 years. Cassie broke then. She put both hands over her face. Shoulders shook. Real tears this time, no performance. I didn't think it would go this far, she whispered. I didn't know what else to do. The baby, Derek's job. The townhouse is 3 months behind. My mother reached over, touched her arm. Didn't look at me? My father stared at the table like it had personally betrayed him. Langford leaned toward my father, whispered something. My father shook his head once, hard. Langford sighed, turned back to us. My clients are prepared to withdraw the threat in writing. No filing, no further claims. Evelyn slid the pre-drafted settlement agreement across the table. 5 pages, clean. Acknowledgement of sole ownership. Waiver of all claims, known or unknown. Mutual non-disparagement. Confidentiality as to terms. No admission of liability on either side. My father's hand shook when he picked up the pen. He signed first. My mother signed without lifting her eyes from the paper. Cassie signed last. Tears fell onto the signature line, smudging the ink. Evelyn collected the originals, made copies on the spot, handed them out. This matter is closed, she said. Any further contact regarding this property will be considered harassment and will be addressed accordingly. I stood up. I didn't say goodbye. I didn't say I was sorry. I just walked out. In the hallway, my phone buzzed. Text from my cousin, the only one who'd told me the truth. You won. You okay? I didn't answer right away. I wasn't sure yet. 6 months passed, like pages turning in someone else's book. My parents quietly sold a rental property they'd kept secret for 20 years, paid off the second mortgage, avoided foreclosure. They're on a tight budget now, first time in decades, but stable. Cassie and Derek moved 2 states away. He got a job offer in logistics, better pay, fresh start. She deleted all social media for half a year. No posts, no stories, no cryptic prayers. I don't know if they're happy. I hope they are. I kept the penthouse. Refinanced at 4.1%. Saved $340 a month. put the difference into something better. I started a small scholarship fund for first-generation college students. Kids working night shifts, living in basements, saving every dollar like it's evidence. Named it the Eudora Grant. Launch was quiet. Just me, my cousin, Evelyn, who became a friend, and a handful of people who'd stayed through the storm. We drank wine on the balcony, watched the sunset, laughed. 2 months ago, my mother sent a birthday card. No note. Just her signature in the same careful cursive she's used since I was 6. I texted back 2 lines. Thank you. Happy birthday to you too. That was enough. My father hasn't called. Cassie sent 1 email. I'm sorry. I was scared and I hurt you. I hope one day we can talk. I waited 3 days, then replied, I accept your apology. I hope your new city treats you well. That was enough. Last week I hosted a small dinner on the balcony. 6 people. The ones who didn't disappear when the noise got loud. My cousin, Evelyn, a few friends who'd seen the worst and stayed anyway. We ate grilled salmon and roasted vegetables, drank cold white wine, watched the city turn gold, then purple, then black. The penthouse was full, not of ghosts, not of guilt, but of life. I still keep the binder on the shelf, not because I'm afraid anymore, but because it reminds me, the truth doesn't shout. It doesn't cry. It doesn't beg. It sits quietly in black 3-ring plastic waiting, and when the moment comes, it speaks louder than any threat, any tear, any whispered family. Your success is not a family emergency fund. Protecting what you built is not selfishness. It's survival. And sometimes, survival is the kindest thing you can do, for yourself, and eventually, maybe even for them. This story ends here, but the binder stays, just in case.